All right, applications of systems. This is where you're going to get the most use as far as assessment pieces are concerned, because you're likely to be assessed by using word problems as opposed to just actual problems like we've been solving before. Now, the way that I'm going to set up this note session is I'm going to write some equations for you so you can understand how to interpret word problems and write equations from that. And we're going to go ahead and set up augmented matrix together. But from that point, you're going to be responsible for coming back to class tomorrow with all the correct answers. So I really want you to become proficient at using the calculator in this, and so I'm not going to give you any answers. I'll be going over those answers with you tomorrow at the beginning of class, so make sure that you take the time to go through each one of these examples and get them all in your calculator so you can come up with the correct solutions. We want to make sure that we're doing this the right way and not just copying down notes and moving on from there. All right. So it says here that last Tuesday, AMC sold 8,500 tickets. So that's going to be one of our solutions. The proceeds totaled $64,600. So that's going to be another solution to a different system of equations. Tickets can be bought in three ways. So I'm now going to identify my variables: matinee, student tickets, and regular admissions. So I'm going to use M, S, and R in this particular case. Okay. How many of each type of ticket was sold if, and there's a sneaky little addition to the problem, but we already are familiar with the fact that if there are three variables, there needs to be three equations as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do M plus A plus R equals 8,500. That's the total number of tickets, so value on each of these numbers is not used. Now we're talking money, because the value of those tickets being sold was $64,600. We need to put the value of each ticket on our particular variables. So this is going to be 5M plus 6, and I told you S, I'm sorry. I wrote that differently in my notes. So we'll just go back to what I said there. And that's going to be 6S plus 8.5R. And then it said if twice as many student tickets were sold as matinee tickets. So the idea here is that there's more student tickets sold than matinee tickets. So in order for the number of matinee tickets to equal the number of student tickets, you have to multiply it by 2. So it would look like this: 2 times the matinee equals the total number of student tickets sold. Now remember what I stated earlier, the matrix loves structure and it only works with structure. So we need to form this equation so that it matches the other two here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one over, and I get 2M. I'm going to move the S as well, minus S. And in this particular case, you'll notice that there is no R, so I'm going to put plus 0R. And once I moved that S, the value of the constant is 0. I'm using this equation to create this equation so that I can form the augmented matrix below. So it's going to be 1, 1, 1. 8,500. It's going to be 5, 6, 8.5, and 64,600. Then it's going to be 2, negative 1, 0, and 0. There's your augmented matrix. Now it's your turn to go through the calculator and determine what the actual solution is. Be prepared to share that tomorrow at the beginning of class. Question number 2. A cashier has 25 coins consisting of these three types of coin. So there's my variables: N plus D plus Q equals 25. Those are just coins, so the value of those coins doesn't matter in this equation. However, we have value in the second equation, so that's where our value is going to come in. Okay, so we got $4.90. A nickel is worth 5 cents. That's 0.05. Please use the correct decimal places there. A dime is worth 10 cents, and a quarter is worth 25 cents. And then it says the number of dimes is, there's my key word there, so it's going to be D equals, that's a backwards translation, so that's 2n minus 1. Again, I'm going to use this equation to give me the structure I need in order to make an augmented matrix. So the D and the N, I'm going to subtract the N to both sides. So I get minus 2N plus D plus 0Q equals negative 1. Now I have what I need in order to fill in my augmented matrix. 1, 1, 1, 25, 0.05, 0.1, 0.25, and $4.90, negative 2, 1, and 0, and negative 1. Use your calculator's reduced row echelon format to determine the number of nickels, dimes, and quarters in this particular example. All right, in question number 3, I'm leaving this entire problem for you to complete. I want you to interpret the equation or interpret the word problem properly to create your 3 equations. Then from there, I'd like you to go ahead and create an augmented matrix. And finally, use reduced row echelon format in the calculator to determine the number of each type of flour that was ordered. All right, question number 4. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this particular problem in a different way. It says here that any of the following combinations will give you $20. So that means each of the following equations is going to be equal to 20. All right, so 14G plus 20B plus 20, oh, that should be an S, sorry, 20S plus 24B. And then we've got 20G plus 15S plus 19B. 30G plus 5S plus 13B. Your augmented matrix is 14, 20, 24, and 20, 15, 19, and 20, 30, 5, 13, and 20. Use reduced row echelon format to determine your number of tokens. Mike has 19 coins, so this is very similar to question number 2. And we're still using nickels, dimes, and quarters, so it's N plus D plus Q equals 19. Remember, it's just the total amount of coins, so that's why the value doesn't matter. In this particular case, we're looking at the value of the money, so we have to ensure that we're also giving value to each one of our variables so that it can be correct. And finally, there are 2 more dimes than nickels, all right? So that means the number of dimes is more than the number of nickels. So in order for the number of nickels to equal the number of dimes, I have to add 2 to it. Again, we're going to utilize this to get the structure we need in order to place it in an augmented matrix. So negative N plus D plus 0Q equals 2. And my augmented matrix is going to be 1, 1, 1, 19, 0.05, 0.1, 0.25, $2.35, and then this one is negative 1, 1, 0, and 2. Using reduced row echelon format in your calculator, determine the number of nickels, dimes, and quarters that there are in this particular problem. And the final problem, question number 6, I'm also going to leave to you to solve completely. So go ahead and interpret the word problem correctly to come up with your 3 equations. From that, if there needs to be some reorganization, please reorganize all of your equations so that they will fit into an augmented matrix appropriately, and determine the 3 numbers that are used to find this particular system.